that these natural resource communities, and especially those like the Adivasis, I will not call them tribals, who have the simplicity, who have equity, who have sustainability in their economy as well as in their lifestyle. They are the ones who have saved the resources, whether it is forest or rivers, up till now. And hence they should be given the due rights and powers in their hand. Now, the fifth schedule in the Constitution says exactly this, and still that is not implemented. The governors have the right to say that this particular act, like the land acquisition, will not be applicable in this Adivasi community because that will disturb their peace and good governance. But that fifth schedule is not properly implemented. Ladakh and all the Himalayan states are fighting either to get the sixth schedule applied to them or to get it implemented. But that is also not happening. So the decentralized management of all the resources is the only solution if we have to come out of the present consumerist and capitalist lifestyle and development paradigm, is what we feel. Now, for this, anyone would say that, oh, there are laws, so the laws can be implemented. But what is happening to the laws today? No, the lawyers cannot be liars, but the acts are amended even during pandemic. And what is the way they are adopting, resorting to? When more than 140 members of parliament were out of parliament, number of acts got changed. But even the Forest Conservation Act, Section 2 getting amended now is somehow till today suspended because of the court's orders. But again, in the state like Madhya Pradesh, they are handing over the degraded forest for upgradation to the corporates. Now, is that necessary? The corporates will only eye on profit over people and profit over nature. And that is not acceptable to us. It is only the real, simple, living communities who have nature-loving communities also, that those will save the resources, and they understand is much better, whether the fish workers or the forest dwellers also. And that is because the technological choice is another issue. Their technology has always been sustainable technology. Now, to have this sustainability, we cannot just write in the reports, every report coming from the international source, this word is repeated. But sustainability cannot come up without equity. And with equity and sustainability only, the justice can be achieved. So whether it is climate justice, means the action to really mitigate the impacts of the climate change, which raises heat, humidity, sea rise, so many kind of impacts. So it is necessary that we really hand over the first and the foremost power to these communities. They should be considered as the first pillar of democracy. We always talk about the 4 pillars of democracy, but every pillar is facing the white ant. So they are not really functioning, although they put the hand on the constitution and take the pledge, but for 5 years they miss away from the community. So it is necessary. Now, even the urban rivers, the Musi River, we were in Hyderabad and I visited the Musi, and what is happening? International financial institutions, when we had to fight in a way the World Bank, but we never say no to a dialogue. We always were in dialogue. Then the inspection panel came up and World Bank withdrew with the proper voting amongst the board of directors. And then they decided to withdraw from the Sardar Sarovar project. But it's rarely happening. But when the inspection panel got to be established, now even the Musi River in Hyderabad, in Telangana, is to get maximum funding from World Bank. What is World Bank looking into? before giving the funding. Such questions are to be raised even before the international financial institutions. They have certain manuals, they have certain grievance redressal process, which the citizens should be made aware of and approach. And we all have to play the catalytic role to really question these. And that is what we feel. And when the laws are diluted, like the Biodiversity Act, where it is said that if the act is violated, if the biodiversity is affected, it can be compensated with money. How did the coronavirus affect really the rich people, not our Adivasis who are considered as poor, but they are rich in natural resources? They did not put a mask. They did not take vaccination. But no one in those 33 villages faced corona. And the richest of all really faced corona. So it cannot be with money that oxygen or any natural resource impact can be compensated. So this kind of dilution in the acts, environmental acts, are also to benefit the financial capitalist, as I would say, and loot or destroy the life support of the natural resource capitalist and human resource capitalist. So we feel that even the PESA Act applicable in the Adivasi areas, scheduled tribe area, that is not followed. Rules came up in Madhya Pradesh, for example, 2022, while the Enabling Act of the central government came up in 1996. And that was also every such act, Forest Rights Act, Manarega, Rozgar Guarantee Act, every act, Right to Information Act, came only through the people's struggle. But the rules are not made for so many years. And even after the rules come up, when the communities pass resolutions, those are not taken into consideration, not given any respect. So we have to fight and fight and fight even to get the laws implemented. We are, of course, non-violent. We are on the path of Gandhi, Satya and Ahimsa. We are on the path of Baba Sahib Ambedkar, because even only if we follow those paths, we can save our life and also save the natural resource ecosystems. So the development paradigm should have the goal of equity, sustainability, and justice together. Without equity, it is not possible. Paradigm also should include the lifestyle challenge, and that should have the simplicity and self-reliance as the two values. So the water management can be by through percolation in each village or each mini watershed. And that technology is easy. It is not impossible. But now in Maharashtra, they have declared this Jala Yukta Shivar Abhiyan since years. And now the present CM has just made a statement that 28,000 villages have already benefited out of that. According to our information, it is not true. Out of 42,000 and more villages in Maharashtra state, 28,000 villages have not benefited. On the other hand, the big dams, the centralized approach, the displaced people are not taken fully care of. In mitigating and compensating the environmental impacts have not occurred. I can give examples of Ujjani Dam in Indapur, Lendi project in Nanded district, which is interstate Telangana and Maharashtra project. I can give you example of Krishna dams, especially Alamatti, which is the interstate Karnataka and Maharashtra. Everywhere we have to intervene, play a catalytic role, but also challenge, and with mass base and mobilization, the actions. So one is the changing the paradigm, insisting and asserting the rights of the communities, having the proper choice of technology and proper priorities based on equity and justice. We cannot give first to the companies. The drinking water supply then water supply for one crop in agriculture, then other crops, and then the small industries, and then the large industries. This is what is to be followed according to the drought manual brought in the British days, and still our independent sovereign country with the blessings of the largest democracy is not following this. So it is therefore necessary that we have to take up Sangharsha and Nirmana both. We can't just go on fighting. We have to also demonstrate how the water resource management can take place, how the distributive justice is necessary. Even in our urban community, we see that the slum dwellers, who are the hardest working class people, get the water almost at midnight. When they are so tired of working whole day, they have to keep awake just to fill the water till beyond midnight. Now, how much unjust is it? It is an atrocity on the Dalits and Adivasis. But water is first provided to the high-level, high-rise buildings, the rich elite population, and the remaining water then comes to the slums. This is absolutely unjust. So I think we should really, no doubt, have the the equitable and sustainable kind of water management, but for which saving forest is also necessary, because the forest, natural forest, cannot be compensated with the monoplantation. And today, for coal mining, Hasdevaranya is affected. For the diamonds underneath, Bakswaha forest in Madhya Pradesh is affected. Everything needs to be stopped, and the forest, natural forest, needs to be saved. Also, there are kind of in the floodplain encroachments, which is also a serious thing affecting the communities. Gujarat High Court again have given a judgment related to the Vishwamitri River in Baroda, that the buildings built in the floodplains are illegal. Now, they are not demolished, but that certainly needs to be stopped. The same thing is happening in the Kolhapur district of Maharashtra, in the Krishna River Valley, and even in Kerala, when the 2018 flood came, we saw how the havoc occurred. But what is it due to? It is not just a natural calamity. We are facing various kinds of tsunamis over 10 years, one decade itself. And all this is because the state, in collaboration with the bondage, not just the electoral bonds, but the economic bonds, the political bonds, and also social bonds that they have, they together play havoc with the nature. And it is only profit over people and profit over nature, as Noam Chomsky called it. That is the become the principle. So people like us who want to save life of nature, but also of humans and all living beings, without whom we cannot consider the ecosystem. There are rare and endangered species. There are aquatic wealth that also keeps the water flowing and clean. And they're also a source of livelihood for the fish workers, no doubt about it. All of this, how can we manage? We can do it only with the people's power, people's right, and people's mobilization. And water is a very important aspect, because it is said time and again that the Third World War will be on water. Now, we were thinking it will be on oil, as it is happening in the oil-rich countries. But no, now people feel that it can be on water. So how to really save the world from the kind of violence that is taking place in Palestine, the Gaza Patti and all. And the Constitution, Article 51, is for peace and harmony. We must not have violent approach, even in the name of development. It is like a war against the people who are living simply and who are saving the world.